fight. We got the biggest fight of the year at Broncos training camp, and I'm going to tell you all about it. But make sure to like and subscribe to this video and this channel. We're at every single Broncos event, practice, everything. Let's dive into this fight, and I believe this was the biggest fight of the Sean Payton era in Denver. Things got messy, and let's rewind a little bit to show you how it got to this point. And it started early in practice during a 9-on-7 period. That's a run period, heavy run period. We saw the second scuffle of camp is how it started. So Justin Jolie kind of involved in a block, and then he was immediately surrounded by 4 Broncos defenders. Things then quickly dissipated from that. That wasn't a big deal, but things got chippy early in practice, and then it carried over into the team period where both sides were going nuts for different reasons. The defense had a couple of huge plays, like Red Murdoch would have blown someone up, Alex Singleton would have blown someone up, but of course you can't do that since it's practice against your own team. So after Red Murdoch would have blown someone up, the defense went absolutely crazy, right in the offense's face. The whole defense goes and celebrates with Red, and then Alex Singleton, the exact same thing. He would have had a massive hit on someone. The whole defense goes and celebrates with him. Alex Singleton picks up, I'd imagine, who he would have blown up, picks up their mouthpiece and chucks it 30 or 40 yards across the field. Just the defense getting in the offense's head. And then in a red zone period, the offense fires right back. The offense, there was a play. Bo Nix threw a touchdown, but it went right through Jaquan McMillan's hands, straight based off of that tip, right into Troy Franklin's hands for a touchdown. Bo Nix sprints over to Troy. Troy slams the ball on the ground about as hard as you could. I was surprised the ball didn't pop, and the offense is going crazy in the defense's face. Then, a few plays later, Courtland Sutton wide open in the left corner of the end zone. Bo hits him, and then Court gets the touchdown, waits, circles up all of his guys on the offensive side, has him come. Bo sprints over to him. Courtland Sutton, the biggest windup I've ever seen for a spike. He spikes it. I swear this thing went higher than the Broncos' old facility that was sitting right behind it. So the offense is going absolutely nuts. The defense is going absolutely nuts. It by far, even at this point, before we even get to a fight, it's the most spirited practice of training camp, maybe the most spirited practice of Sean Payton's tenure as the Denver Broncos head coach. Then we get to the juice. If that wasn't enough for you, Bo Nix goes back. So it's team period. Bo Nix drops back for a pass, and the pocket absolutely collapses around him. You had Nik Bonitto coming from the left side, Jonathan Cooper from the right side, and Malcolm Roach right down the middle. This pocket collapses on Bo so fast that Bo actually gets knocked over. And I wasn't sure if it was one of those guys, if it was all 3 of those guys, but they essentially just ran the offensive lineman into Bo. He goes down. Malcolm Roach starts going crazy because he is pumped for this sack that he got, just doing his job, and I imagine that's what his eyes were. So he kind of walks over to the left, but the left is where Bonitto came from, so that's important. Remember that. Bo Nix gets up, throws the ball in that direction. I don't think he hit Malcolm Roach, but Malcolm was making his way over there. Bo is pissed, and kind of understandably so, because you're the quarterback. You are not supposed to be touched. More on that in just a second. Before I continue this, make sure to throw us a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe. This continues to only get better here. So Nik Bonitto got after Bo, Malcolm Roach in there too. Bo really pissed. Couple of plays later, Bo Nix throws an interception to Alex Singleton. Alex makes a great play on it. He starts taking off to the left for a pick 6, and then something breaks out on the right side of the field. Calvin Throckmorton, turns out, more on him in a second, was at the bottom of this pile, but we're not talking a little scuffle anymore. There are guys lying on top of each other, 4, 5, 6 deep, and then there was some commotion with Nik Bonitto and an offensive lineman. I wasn't sure if it was Mike McGlinchey, I wasn't sure if it was Garrett Bowles, but it seemed like Bonitto and one of those guys were going back and forth with it, and they both ended up on the pile. So Nik Bonitto, his feet, he's like Superman, laying on the pile like this. Bo Nix goes over, grabs Nik Bonitto's leg, yanks him off of the pile. And I mean, Nik Bonitto was like this, just being dragged by Bo off of this pile. That pissed Nick off, understandably so. But remember, this is the quarterback you're dealing with. So Nick wanted Bo's head, it seemed like. He sprints over to him, but of course, there were tons of people right in his face, both broken up and honestly held back. It looked like it would have been pretty bad if these two weren't held back. The pile eventually gets broken up, and later in practice, I did see Bo, kind of pat Nick on the helmet, and nothing escalated further from there. But I mentioned Calvin Throckmorton. He gets up, his head, he lost his helmet right at the beginning of the pile up. So he was at the bottom with no helmet, with guys going crazy, 4, 5, 6 piled up on top of him. He starts bleeding. He's bleeding seemingly everywhere. Trainers are tapping his head with a towel, and it's not stopping. So he goes in to the locker room. That's important, one, because it's a Broncos player. Two, that's the Broncos' only healthy center right now, because Luke Wattenberg and Alex Forsythe did not participate in the team period. The Broncos lost their third center, Michael Dieter, last week. Their fourth center, Calvin Throckmorton, he's not even listed as a center on the Broncos depth chart. He goes in to the Broncos locker room. I'd assume he's getting stitches because it looked pretty intense. So that's the only injury that came out of that. But kind of a scary moment, seeing your quarterback and your star pass rusher go after it. Feisty moment, fiery, exciting. You could use so many different words. I'm sure all of that was going through Sean Payton's head. And after practice, we got to talk to Bo Nix about this. He was in very different spirit 30 minutes later after practice, talking to us than he was on that football field. He said with a big smile, "I love it," when talking about the fight. He said it's football. He said when you get in the dog days of summer and you're practicing against one another, tempers rage and things happen. And Vance Joseph, didn't really think along those same lines as Bo. Vance did say, we're an aggressive defense. We're going to get after it even if it's in practice, but there is a line we cannot cross. And apparently that was Sean Payton's message too. You can be aggressive, you can be spirited, but you can't cross a line, and Vance Joseph said it perfectly. Bo is our quarterback. You cannot get near Bo. Anywhere near Bo is actually what he said. And that's right. This is not the second time that Bo Nix has gone down because of the Broncos defense absolutely getting after him. It happened a couple of weeks ago where Malcolm Roach actually was the one that pushed the pockets too much, where Bo went down. Bo popped right back up after that. Nothing escalated from there. But apparently twice is too much for this Broncos offense. They were not going to let that happen again. I loved seeing Bo get fired up. Love seeing the defense get fired up, but it definitely did cross a line. We'll talk to Sean Payton on Wednesday to get his perspective on that. Davis Webb also loved the fire that the Broncos brought at practice as well. Couple more updates for you that aren't related to that fight. Good news on the Jaylen Waddle front. Make sure to hit us with a thumbs up, subscribe to this video and this channel. Jaylen Waddle made a fantastic play back. He was wearing full pads, he was running full speed, and he was a full participant in practice. This is huge news for the Broncos, and I believe it was the very first throw of practice. Jaylen Waddle down the left sideline. Bo Nix, it looks like he overthrows him. No. You can't overthrow Jaylen Waddle. He does a perfect job just sprinting to get under the ball. The ball falls right over his left shoulder for a 30-yard catch. It was actually a perfect throw. It was a perfect catch. There's no overthrowing Jaylen Waddle. So welcome back, number 17. He is in the mix as well. Luke Wattenberg, Alex Forsythe did not participate in the team portions of practice. They both are making strides in the right direction, and that's kind of the same thing with Marvin Mims. We did get to see Marvin run some routes today. He looked really good. Looked like he was going full speed, but the Broncos are holding him back a little bit. I mentioned Alex Singleton had that interception off Bo, which started the whole scuffle, so that's probably going to get buried because of the fight, but that should not get buried. It was a good play by Alex, and Frank Crum came up with a catch, maybe even a touchdown catch from Jarrett Stidham. We obviously saw that in the playoffs last year. That's going to stay in the Broncos bag right there. Drew Sanders and Michael Bandy also did not practice. One more thing. I love this. During the final team period of practice, Mike McGlinchey has a false start. I don't love that. but he has a false start. Garrett Bowles clearly has some mistake as well. So those two are pulled from the first team, put in with the second team, and Davis Webb talked about it after practice and said, we have a standard, the Denver Broncos standard. If you don't live up to that, yeah, we're going to replace you just like that. So Davis Webb, he's a young guy, but boy, is he not afraid to dish out some punishment. So huge Broncos practice today. Biggest fight that we've seen. Glad everyone is okay, and we really hope that Calvin Throckmorton is okay. That's going to do it for today. Another spirited practice expected tomorrow. Make sure to stay tuned.